Totem America, all your landmarks, blue and gray, are falling. Totem America, nothing can save you. Totem America, your towers of corpses dark the sun. And when all else fails, Totem America, go stupid, indecent. Fuck your crass cousin, Totem America, your dark debris dead ahead. Your dismal tide breaks the beach. Your meds and mercy are fallow, Totem America, rapacious, repulsive, Totem America, bleeding out.
I took the devil out of my poem. He was clogging my voice box with decaying spiders. I took the devil out of my poem, but I left in the neck kissing and ear nibbling because it's angelic. I took the devil out of my poem because pus filled my eyes. I wanted talk of poems, though they make nothing happen. Every poem is a love poem. I was tired of talk about nothing. I took the devil out of my poem because we see death every day and can do nothing except waltz. Life 2-3, death 2-3. I took the devil out of my poem because those who die unjustly return with murder on their minds. I took the devil out of my poem because Vincent van Gogh died on a Tuesday. I took the devil out of my poem because he despises innocence, because he loves love, but he only loves with intent. I took the devil out of my poem because I hate the sound of grinding words against my teeth. He turns them to dust, along with my books, my fingers, my pens, and bricks of my convictions. I took the devil out of my poem because the God-fearing keep putting him back in there. There is no caesura the devil cannot fill with vanity and pride. I took the devil out of my poem because the suicides are enough to break the heart. I took the devil out of my poem because time is only as long as a cigarette. I took the devil out of my poem because 1,000 years from now, humans will be living like a millennium ago. I took the devil out of my poem because the road to my soul is paved with stones, dried leaves, and patches of snow. I took the devil out of my poem because irony is fun, but only if you are in on the joke. I took the devil out of my poem because I'd rather listen to Mozart than the news, because in the future all poems will be written in HTML code. I took the devil out of my poem because the future is underwater with patches of sand and plastic. I took the devil out of my poem because my conscience makes me want to do the right thing, though I often prefer to sleep, because simplicity is difficult. I took the devil out of my poem because the universe is riddled with dark matter, because truth and detail play hide and seek. I took the devil out of my poem because I fear the random gunburst in my chest, because I fear I will not have time to defend, explain, or say goodbye, because everyone's documentary is screening in their head. I took the devil out of my poem because spontaneous malfunction is built into the system, and the machine is a rolling stone.
Head already resembling blunt force trauma, wings tucked at sides like an undertaker's jacket. A woodpecker lays dead on a bed of last year's leaves, both victims of time's carnage, both soon to repopulate the soil's university. Small sprigs, timid shoots of future seasons. Eggshells coming to harden in a mother's body. Here lies a father, a husband born to knock the spirits out of a maple or oak, eyes blinded in death by the very insect tribes wounded by his primitive appetite. Blue beak, still, silent, amid the roar of progress.
Stones. Stones I am holding spill from my hands, fall to the ground in their stubborn form, not humble like me, who honors even death. Little do they know the dust they shall be when the eons pass and no one's left talking. Still, I am angry and kick one down the hill, hasten its change to pebble, to gravel, hasten its change to gravel, to pebble, envying its sureness, I who know it will change, though it seems to defy time, mute and stupid.
This is called Take a Knee. All I wanted to do was watch an old black and white film with you. But the black had been stripped away. Bogart kissing some woman's white lips. Cagney stroking his white Tommy gun. Gary Cooper wiping down the white sweat of his white horse. Mae West casting back her sultry look, asking, "Why don't you white boys come up and see me sometime?" And all those war movies with their white bombs and white blood, and that last hill the white GIs have got to take from the unseen, colorless enemy. And it's the best part. It's the scene you've seen so many times before, and here it comes again. You can't get enough of it. Your knuckles gone white, skin gone white, breath gone white from how long you've held that breath. Watching war's white smoke, white bullets, white fear. Your breath held for 9 white minutes as if beneath a knee that doesn't know the scene has ended, though the credits have begun to roll as your heart beats back to red and the screen fades to black.
This one begins with a quote from Napoleon. What is history if not a fable agreed upon? If I should die before finishing this poem, will you dovetail our voices into one? If I should die before I conclude, please keep the truth we carried into the war that threatens to silence the words we use to shorten the distance between us. I almost blew that one. Damn. This is a relatively new one of the few new ones that I'm kind of happy with. And it's called Where the Light Sneaks In. The psychic took my personal check, and I quickly questioned all her predictions. Surely she knew my grifter past before predicting 10 weeks on the Times Top 10 and Amazon Prime's Big Pick. Have you read my stuff? It's freaking depressing, I said. A curt evaluation, I'll concede, but I don't see stars anymore, just bullet holes where the light sneaks in. We need your truth, she said, and I thought, crap. What a blurb that would make. Let Kirkus Magazine charge me now. This country ain't pissed, she said, lending credence to my last submissions, a whole new heft to my au revoir. Can I quote you, I asked, without grimace, my standard scowl of the day? $26.99, she said, without fanfare or delight.
I'm going to start with something was razor bladed out of the photo. Something was razor bladed out of the photo like squadrons of dark uniformed soldiers of a passing civilization. Like garbage thrown in the narrow neck between tenements. Like death on a high wire among dealers who want to cheat you. Something was dynamited to smithereens without dignity, without regard for its elders, without respecting a higher calling, waving farewell to Emma Lazarus's promise, to Walt Whitman's energy and motion, to Jacob Riis's crusader spirit behind the camera, to Margaret Sanger's passion, to Emma Goldman's fiery speeches about the poor and forlorn. Something has stripped away the soul of the city, the exchange every immigrant makes for a chance his children know a brighter future. Something was disappearing in fog, like a tugboat out on the harbor, beyond the eye of the paparazzi's camera, halfway down a flagpole, in the trash bins behind the Metropolitan Museum of Art, in the community gardens nestled between cracks in the pavement.
Hello, my name is Ron Whiteurs, or R. Deiudicibus Whiteurs, and my first two poems will be political rants. Planning to retire. Not one kopeck, not one drachma, not one pfennig, not one sou, not one shilling, not one tuppence, not one farthing, not for you, not one nickel, not one token, not one shekel, not one petu, not one peso, not one centime, not one trace of an IOU. Don't play canasta with the paymaster. Swallow that laughter. Joke's on you. Court with disaster. Trouble comes faster. Not one piaster from Uncle Sam Dew.
I'm about to read a piece that has an oblique relationship to the images that you'll see in the background. And because I thought I might, but failed to have the inner whatever to read that particular piece. But I was prepared because the piece I am going to read, it intersects with the things that happened when I was 14 and I was in a facility in St. Louis. I called my father every few years. He calmed his fear with talk about Jesus, then blurted absurdities about his poverty, all lies. I saw his house, dock, and boat on Google Earth. Claimed he spent it all, or was stolen by his second wife who tortured him, left him for dead, or gave it to his Crystal Palace megachurch. I wouldn't rise to the bait, so he'd bluntly declare, "You won't inherit anything." I'd say, "Dad, I don't want your stuff." Near the end of each call, I would press him about one tough, ancient thing, so, well, at least I asked him that. He used to hang up on me, but in our final calls, he sputtered responses, stayed on. Progress of a kind. 3 calls ago, I told him I forgave him. He said, "Jesus forgives me. I don't need your forgiveness." 2 calls ago, I asked about how he pinned Mom against the garage door with his car. He said, "Now you're talking crazy talk from Pluto." I dropped it, as always. The last time I asked, it was hard growing up in your house. Do you ever regret anything, how you raised us? He snorted and said, You kids got everything you deserved growing up. Those were his last words to me. On March 17, 2016, he died in Florida alone. How do I enlarge my loving kindness to include him? Not with religious or psychological formulas, but for real. I speak with my mother, my siblings, and dig for details. Study his cold expression in our family portraits. Peer at his childhood face before we ruined his life. Research family origins, obtain complex psychological explanations, and succeed up to a point. Up to the point of my dread every day of failing and his wrath descending. To the point of cringing late at night, pace the floor in tight circles, bending neck and head just so, repeating sounds and words, slapping myself in the dark until my teeth chatter and my head empties. Up to the point of abandoned in that cell at 14 for being incorrigible, for running away again and again. And those boys, those guards, how everything Dad beat into us, his most important lessons, betrayed me. Shut up, you're pathetic. I'll give you something to cry about. Wipe that look off your face. How he insisted on help me hurt you. How passivity made me their plaything for 5 days. In a cell I wouldn't have known if pity had outweighed my father's petty vengeance. Every time I think I have a handle on him, it breaks off in my hand. We spent our childhood believing we failed to learn our lessons, when in fact we did. The lessons were anger, cruelty, and neglect. I called because I wanted his redemption, for his sake and all of ours, for him to know my grief and pain and rage, and to be human. I've forgiven him many times. I feel better for a while, but then an overwhelming sense of loss. What he stole and never gave us shreds my peace of mind. I tell myself I still have work to do, that my half-assed Buddhism is incomplete. I step up working on loving kindness and find some serenity in self-knowledge. It is always incomplete. He wins, and I am lost if I do not know him as human. To understand myself as separate from him and to recover at last from being raped, I had to go back and feel every part, every minute of a childhood and adolescence where numb was the only smart move. It has driven me mad, unnecessary madness, closely watched by my therapist, but this isn't a feel-good tale of closure. I howl. I no longer fear the pavement far below. I would tear this low world to bits, rip the face from every unharmed one of you, take those guards and crush them slow, whisper horrors into their dying ears. My madness is me now, glittering and raw. This is what you ask of all beaten spouses and children, of soldiers baptized in comrades' blood, of helpless witnesses, of the raped, tortured, and forgotten. When you say, tell your story, you ask us to stand up, to be broken, visible, and true. There will never be closure, and I will never get justice. Those boys are dead or lost. Those guards will never face me. I will never lose my terror, my shakes, my anger. But but I would be a different man. So I stand up. My reward is not the end of sorrow. My reward is, I have never loved us more. Every trudging striver, every bullied soul. I love the lost bully too, the demented abuser, the broken father, and now all parts of me stand with me. In one hand I have a feral boy on a leash, in the other a bloody plowshare. And yet, oh, best beloved, I must take one more step. I have a dream, a vision that recovers my humanity and his. If for a moment, something I must do for my salvation and for every wounded heart who hears me, for all who want to forgive a cruel parent but cannot. A small thing, but a generosity greater perhaps than unreliable forgiveness. I imagine him before polio, before his rage and dead expression, before unwed pregnancy and the wife and children he didn't want, when his dreams of being a tennis star, a sailor, an astronaut were fresh in him, and his legs worked, when he had potential and hope, and perhaps some kindness in his eye. I imagine him at 14. August 1946. The black-haired boy is breathless, bent over, his palms on smooth knees, faster than his sister Dorothy, his friends and cousins, faster than the boys from the tar shacks along the back acres. His McGuffey spills from a brown leather school bag on the grass alongside jackets and scarves, and the boy's thin black socks and good school shoes, too, because he promised to beat them barefoot, to prove once and for all he is the 1,000-mile wind, the uncatchable boy. Dorothy ties her shirt tails in front, tucks her hair, gets ready. The other boys punch shoulders, beat chests. Al settles onto one hand, track star style, and flexes, eager, behind the jump rope starting line. You ready or not? They line up by the old farm bell that sits on the scarred post, the bell that calls in the hands for lunch or to fix trouble. The boys imitate Al, one foot stretched behind, one hand forward. Dorothy turns sideways, her angled arms a boxer's hieroglyph. Ready? A screen door slams behind them up the hill. His mother scans, peers, frowns, wrings her apron, hollers something. Go! Off the lawn and across the dirt, around the barn and into the fields beyond reach. His legs find their stride, and he leaves them gasping, smashing through corn. He slips between sheaves like a fox. The setting sun disappears under the thin red edge of distant heavy clouds. Last light dazzles, and he huffs, squints, brushes sweat from the corner of an eye. Dorothy and the boys holler at his mother. All right, okay, coming back now. The field slopes down, the corn thins, his arms go out as he leaps from the last of the green into the fine dust of the farm road. A road like an arrow aimed at the western sky, at the rim of the world in the last crimson smear. He slows, but his arms stay wide, as if he could take up and embrace everything he sees. Cicadas in the itch grass. I will never go back. Each breath tears at him, brings infinite energy. Oxygen is his partner in crime. Blood and sinew make him a champion. His hands float on angel strings. The dying light loves this boy. Yes, he whispers. Pale blue eyes closed, his pounding heart whole and ready. He starts to spin.
Long ago along the Hudson. It wasn't exactly Eden, but the riverfront was my garden. I am Eve. A long time ago, I was rocking to I Am Butterfly in the Gata La Vida in this garden. There were no serpents, no bad apples, just fun-loving young boomers smoking marijuana or dropping acid to zone out. No fuzz or pigs trying to expel us from an oasis on the bank of the Hudson. The river quietly streamed by ships moored, the ghost fleets they were called. Their silhouettes stretched from Jones Point to Tompkins Cove under the spotlight of a brilliant moon, reminder of a past war. Gathered with friends trying to escape reality, the coming of age draft and the Vietnam War, we partied to hide our fear. The war, ever present, would take another mother's son to a conflict far, far away, such that we had to check with each other to make note of who the garden lost, realizing you can't always get what you want while skipping stones. My Tonka from the shore. The heat at the shore, unbearable, I implore. The sun finds no shade. The ocean evaporates, and wandering seagulls cry. Stranded. Waves slapping the shore, a bright sun heating the sand. Away I should sail. With no ship to sail off on, I navigate on land, lost. Fire pit trance. In the fire pit, flames dance upon the wood. Smoke dances above the flames, a dance choreographed by the breeze. I sit staring into the fire, losing my mind in surreal thought, breathing in the smoke. I gaze at the clouded night sky, no longer sure if I'm still on earth or just overcome by wine.
Requiem. Beauty travels on the song of the crickets and the sleigh bells of the cicada as they venerate the rains that have all come to visit with a hush and a splatter in the soft, creeping darkness of the mysterious night. It is within night's passage that my ears, jaded by daytime's hardness, can hear the magic resonance of this soothing, spontaneous concert. Yeah, the rhythms of the cicada or of the ocean or the cycles of day and night spin around endlessly, reaching back to the dim roots of our upright walk in this place. Upon the sun's retreat, the night comes, pulling back the veil of daytime's hard seeing, revealing the infinities. They were always there, that we might tarry with them for a while. On nights such as this, there is a magic not only in the skies, but also in the ears, if you will hear it. And hear it you should. Soon enough, the crickets and their friends will withdraw their song, and day will reclaim the sky, returning us once again to blindness. Blindness it is, and blindness it shall be. For there seems a preference for it, a broken longing, inexorable and tragic, as the winds blow, and the soil gives forth, and the mountains stand in the rain.
Swimming. The man next door is useful. He mows around our shed in spring, cuts firewood, stacking it smartly for winter. His wife comes outside only in morning, shuffles down the driveway, crossing the road to the mailbox. She is pale as an ocean stone with sand-scraped skin softened by the circling sea. Now it is summer. Her husband skims the in-ground pool for hours. He stands over nearly clear water, removing debris. He never stops skimming, skips breakfast, work, phone calls, dessert. The grass grows high against the shed. The lawn stretches lazily as the wind yawns. The mailbox shuts its mouth. It is full of unanswered statements. The man next door skims the surface of the unused pool. He catches leaves, polynoses, Japanese beetles. At night, he dreams of quarantine, black iridescent blotches, Rorschach butterflies floating into white net.
This is called 90 Rolls. Remember when on bus trips in high school back in the early 60s, someone would start singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall? I do. We'd all join in to pass the time until we got to our destination. I thought of it today as I was walking past a parked car outside the gate to the town park, which is closed because there is a global pandemic. In the back seat of the car, I spotted 2 enormous packs of toilet paper, each of which said 45 rolls on the side. I started singing in my head. 99 rolls of toilet paper in the house, 99 rolls of toilet paper, take one out, use it up, 98 rolls of toilet paper in the house, 98 rolls of toilet paper in the house, 98 rolls of toilet paper, take one out, use it up, 97 rolls of toilet paper in the house, 97 rolls of toilet paper in the house. I thought how when I got to 90, there would still be a whole hell of a lot of toilet paper left to be used. Even the busload of kids in the 60s would have taken weeks to use up that much toilet paper unless it was Halloween. 90 rolls in the back seat of a car today.